In a world bursting at the seams with noise, opinions shouted across social media, endless debates, the pressure to always have a response, silence is no longer just rare. It's revolutionary. Imagine a room filled with arguments, voices clashing like thunder, and in the center of it, someone sits quietly, composed, unmoved. That silence, it doesn't signal defeat. It signals control, power, mastery. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. They knew that the loudest force isn't always the one yelling. Sometimes it's the one who chooses not to engage. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "You always own the option of having no opinion." He wasn't talking about apathy. He was talking about sovereignty, the kind of self-possession that doesn't flinch at provocation, that doesn't need to prove anything. Silence, when chosen deliberately, becomes armor, a shield against chaos, a quiet rebellion in a reactive world. But here's the real question. When is silence not just wise, but necessary? Today, we're exploring 9 powerful moments when silence isn't just golden, it's transformational. Moments that test your ego, tug at your emotions, and invite you to rise above it all. If you're someone who's tired of being pulled into every storm, if you're craving peace, clarity, and the ability to respond instead of react, then take a deep breath, because what comes next could change the way you engage with the world forever. Let's begin. Number 1, when you're criticized unfairly. Ever been hit with a comment so wrong, so ridiculously off base, that your whole body tightened in defense? Maybe it was at work, a manager implying a failure was your fault when you weren't even involved. Or maybe it was a friend twisting your words into something cruel and unrecognizable. You feel your face flush, your fists clench, your heart races with the urge to set the record straight. But what if those moments, the ones that make your blood boil, were actually your greatest training grounds for inner strength? The Stoics believed that no insult could harm us unless we allow it to. Emperor Hadrian put it simply, "It is not the words of others that harm us, but our interpretation of them." Think about that. The insult doesn't pierce you, your reaction does. And that's something you can control. Imagine this, you're at a family gathering. Everyone's relaxed, plates full, laughter echoing. Then suddenly, your uncle, the one who reads half an article and thinks he's Warren Buffett, drops this gem across the table. "I'm honestly surprised you're still getting by with your spending habits." Now you could unleash your receipts. You could remind him of your savings, your investments, and that one time he lost money on that can't-fail crypto tip. But a Stoic would pause, take a breath, and realize, this isn't about truth, it's about projection. That comment says more about him, his anxiety, his need to feel superior, than it does about you. Seneca, another Stoic giant, taught that unfair criticism is often a mirror, one that reflects the insecurities of the speaker more than the flaws of the target. But here's the twist. Even within an unfair jab, there might be a grain of truth, a small signal hidden in the noise. Could there be a part of your budget that needs reviewing? Are there habits worth refining? Silence doesn't mean you agree. It means you're listening with intention, filtering with wisdom, and choosing what's worth your energy. Sometimes the strongest defense is no defense at all. At number 2, stay silent in the presence of boasting. There's a particular kind of noise that doesn't insult. It entices. It doesn't provoke anger. It tugs at your pride. You've heard it before. It's the sound of boasting. Someone across the table can't stop talking about their recent win, their flawless habits, their greatness. It might be subtle, a humble brag disguised as casual conversation, or it might be full-on theatrical, a non-stop TED Talk about how they're dominating life. At first, it's harmless, but then you feel it. That twitch of comparison, that flicker of ego that whispers, say something, prove you're not behind. It might be a colleague bragging about their promotion while downplaying everyone else's contribution, or a friend who turns every gathering into a highlight reel of their productivity, wealth, and spiritual enlightenment, conveniently all at once. Suddenly, you're no longer present. You're strategizing. Should I bring up that big project I led? Should I casually mention I've been running too? Maybe farther. But this is where Stoicism steps in like a steady hand on your shoulder. The Stoics remind us that real strength doesn't need to perform. Real confidence doesn't need to compare. Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled an empire, wrote with striking humility, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." In other words, let your life be the proof, not your words. Let's paint the picture. You're at a dinner party. Glasses clink, laughter hums. Then comes Victor, that guy. You know the one. He's in full performance mode. He's just closed a real estate deal. He's meditating daily. He's now running 5 miles before sunrise. And he's absolutely making sure everyone knows. You have stories too. Quiet wins, personal growth, silent battles overcome. But you don't share them, not because you're hiding, but because you don't need validation to feel complete. So, you smile, you listen, you stay silent. Your silence in that moment is not submission. It's sovereignty. It's not that you don't have something to say. It's that you don't need to. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, wrote, "It is a great thing to know the season for speech and the season for silence." And this is a season for silence, because what does silence say in a moment of boasting? It says you're not in the race, you're not competing for applause, you're not interested in superficial status games, you're rooted in something deeper, a quiet confidence that speaks volumes without sound. Epictetus took it even further. He said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Why? Because growth doesn't happen where egos clash. It happens in stillness, in patience, in humility. When you stop needing to be seen, you start to become whole. So next time you're surrounded by self-congratulation, don't play the game, don't trade stories, don't puff your feathers, just breathe, just watch, just be. Let others reveal their hunger for attention, while you, grounded, composed, remain centered in your own journey, because often the most powerful presence in the room is the one who doesn't need to say a word and still commands deep respect. Number 3, stay silent when dealing with anger. Anger is a storm, quick, loud, and blinding. One moment you're fine, and the next, your heart races, your breath shortens, your thoughts spiral, and reason gone. It vanishes in the heat of that first surge of adrenaline, and yet the truth remains painfully simple. Anger only holds the power you choose to give it. The Stoics never told us to suppress anger or pretend it doesn't exist. They weren't robots, they were warriors of the mind. They knew that emotion is part of the human experience, but what they did teach is this: don't let anger be your captain, let it be your teacher. Real strength isn't found in never getting angry. It's in staying the master of your mind while the anger flows. Picture this. You're worn out after a long day. You're standing in line at the grocery store, finally about to check out. Then someone marches right past you, cuts in line. No eye contact, no apology, just entitlement in motion. Your fists clench, your jaw tightens. You feel the fire ignite. Your mind starts crafting the perfect verbal slap, sharp, witty, unforgettable. But you pause. In that pause, something powerful happens. That brief silence is not empty. It's a decision. You've done what most people never even attempt. You've stepped away from being a puppet of emotion and reclaimed control. That moment, that silence, is mastery. As Emperor Antoninus Pius once advised, let not your mind run on what you lack as much as on what you have already. And in that moment, what you have is the power to choose peace. Anger feels like self-defense, promises power, but too often it's a lie. It offers destruction dressed as strength. A sharp retort at work might earn you a short victory, and a long-lasting wound to your reputation. A harsh word to a loved one might win the argument and lose the relationship. The Stoics saw this clearly. They believed the consequences of anger are nearly always worse than its cause. Let that settle in for a moment. This doesn't mean you let people walk all over you. It doesn't mean you never speak up or take action. But it does mean you respond with intention, not with the first impulse that burns through you. The philosopher Musonius Rufus, one of the lesser-known but deeply respected Stoics, taught that anger doesn't come from the event itself. It comes from expectation. We expect fairness. We expect kindness. We expect the world to operate by the rules we believe are right. And when life doesn't meet those expectations, when the line cutter appears, when the unfairness hits, frustration rushes in. But what if you shifted your expectations? What if you stopped expecting the world to behave perfectly and started expecting yourself to handle it gracefully? That's where power lives. Because silence in the heat of anger isn't passivity, it's strategy. It buys you space. It gives you time to breathe, to think, to transform that fire into fuel. Not for destruction, but for direction. Anger, when tamed, can push you to grow, to act, to protect what matters. But uncontrolled, it burns not only bridges, but the very foundation you're standing on. So next time fury rises in your chest, don't let it control your voice. Let silence step in first. Let it be the clearing in the storm. Let it be the calm where your better self can emerge. Stronger, clearer, wiser. Number 4, stay silent in the face of false rumors. Rumors move like wildfire. Fast, messy, and often leaving behind more smoke than substance. All it takes is one whisper, then a twist, then a retelling. Suddenly, you're the villain in someone else's story. A story you didn't write and certainly didn't approve. It feels personal. It feels unfair. And the urge to fight back, to speak out, to correct the lie, it's intense. But here's where Stoicism gives you a surprising piece of wisdom. Don't. That's right. Don't chase the lie. Don't beg people to believe you, because sometimes silence defeats slander better than shouting ever could. Why? Because the moment you react, you give life to the rumor. You validate it by engaging. You fan the flames while trying to put them out. As Seneca put it so clearly, time discovers truth. Truth doesn't need a megaphone. It doesn't need panic or drama. It just needs time and quiet confidence. When someone twists your words or paints a false version of you, your instinct might be to explain, to clear your name, to fix the misunderstanding. But too often those explanations go unheard, or worse, become new material for more gossip. So instead, let your silence speak. Let your character do the work your words cannot. Let your consistent actions build a reality stronger than any rumor. Because the truth, it has patience, and time always reveals what's real. Number 5, stay silent in the wake of loss. Loss has a strange power. It doesn't always arrive with thunder or warning. Sometimes it just takes, quietly, and suddenly the world feels different. The cars still move, the clock keeps ticking, people laugh, phones buzz, emails pile up. But inside you, everything stands still. There's a silence that follows real loss, not the peaceful kind. This silence is dense. It fills the space where laughter once lived. It lingers in the corners of a room that used to feel full. It echoes in memories, not as joy, but as ache. And in that silence, what do most people do? They run. They distract. They fill the void with noise, with tasks, with anything to avoid feeling. But Stoicism offers another path. It doesn't ask you to pretend you're fine. It doesn't demand that you move on or stay strong in some performative way. No, the Stoics invite you to sit with the silence, to face it, to understand it, because they knew that grief isn't an enemy to be defeated. It's a teacher to be heard. When you lose someone you love, or a job you gave your heart to, or a dream you carried for years, your first instinct is often resistance. You replay the past. What if I had done more? Why did it have to happen this way? You bargain with reality, hoping to undo what's already written. But as Epictetus reminds us, it's not things that disturb us, but our judgments about them. We can't change what has happened, but we can choose how we carry it. Seneca offered a powerful reminder for moments like this. The day we fear as our last is but the birthday of eternity. That one sentence reframes everything. It tells us that loss, though painful, is not the end. It's a transition, not an erasure, but a transformation of connection, of meaning, of presence. Yes, pain is real, but so is growth. The silence after loss is not empty. It's a vessel, a space to reflect, to grieve, to remember, and ultimately, to heal. You see, grief is not weakness. Grief is the price of deep love. The pain we feel is not a flaw. It's a mirror. It shows us how deeply something or someone mattered. And the Stoics believed that what truly matters never leaves us. It evolves. Loss to them was not simply suffering to endure. It was a call to return to what is essential, to live a life of virtue, to strengthen our resilience, to rediscover gratitude even when things are no longer the same. So, when loss comes, and it will come, allow the silence. Don't fear it. Sit with it. Let it show you the depth of your heart, the weight of your connection, and the strength still left in you. Sometimes, in that stillness, you'll discover something unexpected, a quiet clarity, a memory that brings not just tears, but warmth, a purpose to keep going, not to replace what was lost, but to honor it. Because one of the most powerful things we can do after loss is to live, to carry forward the values, the lessons, the love, and express them through the way we treat others and the way we treat ourselves. So the next time you find yourself in that heavy silence, don't rush to escape it. Let it breathe. Let it teach. Let it remind you of the beautiful, painful truth of being human. That nothing lasts forever, but meaning, when honored, never fades. Number 6, navigating ignorance with Stoic grace. We've all met them, people so confident that they seem to know everything, yet everything they say reveals how little they truly understand. It could be a colleague confidently giving wrong instructions, or an online commenter arguing passionately but without facts. It's both amusing and frustrating. But in those moments, the Stoic doesn't lose patience. They practice discipline and self-control. Rather than reacting with irritation, Stoicism invites us to see ignorance not as a threat, but as an opportunity to strengthen our own character. Imagine Socrates, who was not a Stoic, but deeply admired by them. He never shouted or belittled others. Instead, he asked simple, piercing questions, gently unraveled false certainty. His method was not to conquer, but to reveal, to let others see the cracks in their own logic, without ever raising his voice. Now imagine applying that in your own life. When someone insists boldly on something incorrect, your goal isn't to win the debate. Instead, you might ask gently, "What makes you so certain?" Or have you considered a different perspective? These questions aren't confrontational. They're invitations to think deeper, and often that's more effective than any rebuttal. But what if they don't listen? What if they double down? That's where silence becomes your greatest tool. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. You don't need to correct everyone. You don't need to waste your energy on those unwilling to receive it. Think of the astronomer Aristarchus, who proposed the Earth moves around the sun centuries before Galileo. He was ignored, even mocked, but he didn't waste his life arguing. He simply let the truth stand. Because truth, like virtue, doesn't need to shout. By practicing silence, you preserve your energy. You remain anchored. You choose peace over provocation. And that calm presence, unshaken by noise, is what sets you apart. So next time you face confident ignorance, pause, ask a question, stay silent, or simply walk away. Because true wisdom isn't about proving others wrong. It's about mastering yourself. Number 7, how to handle rumors with Stoic, calm rumors. They often start from a small misunderstanding or an unintentional comment, but soon spread like an uncontrollable fire. With every retelling, the story adds new details until the truth becomes disguised as fiction. That feeling is truly maddening. Your first instinct might be to chase after the rumor, confront those who spread it, and clear your name. But pause for a moment. Has that ever really worked? Take the story of Aurelius, a devoted mentor who spent many years helping underprivileged youth build better futures. He often stayed late, personally funded workshops, and poured his heart into the mission. But one student, angry about a failing grade, spread whispers that Aurelius was biased. The rumor quickly spread, trust began to waver, and Aurelius's reputation suffered. He could have fought back, defended himself, and argued, but he didn't. Instead, Aurelius chose to keep doing his work, mentoring, helping, and giving tirelessly. He decided not to fight shadows. And gradually, the truth emerged. Parents saw their children's progress. Students spoke up in his defense. Colleagues remembered his consistent dedication, and the whisper died, like all noise without an audience. This isn't just Aurelius's story. It's a reminder for you. How often have you let someone's words steal your peace? How many times have you been pulled into battles that drain your spirit? Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who did the injury." The Stoics understood that silence, when chosen intentionally, is not weakness, it is power. Epictetus taught that if a rumor is true, correct yourself. If it's false, why be disturbed? It's a higher path, not chasing after every chance to explain yourself. When you choose not to respond, you're saying, "I know who I am. I don't owe those who misunderstand me any explanation." So what can you do? First, master your emotions. Reacting with anger only fuels the lies. Breathe deeply, reflect, and ask yourself, is this really worth my energy? Second, stay the course. Let your actions build your legacy, not your explanations. Because in the end, it's not the rumor that defines you. It's how you respond to it. Let your silence echo louder than their noise. Keep walking with dignity and purpose. Number 8, dealing with injustice. Life isn't fair, and the Stoics never pretended otherwise. You can be honest, diligent, and kind, yet still be overlooked, betrayed, or falsely judged. When injustice strikes, the natural instinct is to push back, defend yourself, demand what you deserve. But the question is, will that reaction serve you or cost you your peace? Picture Armin, a rising researcher who dedicated a year to developing a groundbreaking idea. At the unveiling, his supervisor took full credit. Armin's name was left off the project. The rage was real. The urge to speak out was strong, but Armin didn't explode. He didn't retaliate. He kept doing what he does best, creating, building, and leading with quiet excellence. Seneca once said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Injustice is friction. How you handle it is your refinement. Stoicism isn't about accepting mistreatment. It's about choosing your response with wisdom. Building on the idea of controlling your emotions and facing injustice with calmness, let's explore another facet of Stoic wisdom: how to handle insults with quiet strength and wisdom. Acting out of anger often makes you appear emotional, even when you are right, but responding with calm and consistency builds a different kind of power, one that doesn't need to shout to be heard. The Stoics remind us that we cannot control outcomes, only our effort, our integrity, and our mindset. When you focus on these, you stop letting injustice have power over you. This doesn't mean turning a blind eye to what's wrong. It means playing the long game, staying sharp, and letting your actions and results speak louder than your resentment. So next time you're dealt an unfair hand, take a deep breath, pause, and ask yourself, what response would honor my character, not just my emotions? Because the quiet strength of restraint often leaves the deepest impression, one that no one can take away from you. Now, number 9, how to handle insults with Stoic wisdom. There is a unique kind of strength that reveals itself in silence, not the silence of fear or avoidance, but an intentional, grounded stillness that refuses to be shaken by provocation. The Stoics understood this well. They believed insults only carry weight if we choose to carry them. Titus once said, "If someone provokes you, it's because your mind is complicit in the provocation." At first, this may sound harsh, almost blaming, but look deeper and you'll find freedom in this idea. Because it means you have a choice. You don't have to give away your peace every time someone throws careless words your way. Think about it. How many times have you let a rude comment, a snide remark, or a passive-aggressive jab ruin your entire day? We replay the insult over and over, trying to craft the perfect comeback long after the moment has passed. But the Stoic doesn't waste energy that way. The Stoic steps back, breathes, and lets the moment go. Take Clarara's example, a community leader known for her calm demeanor. Over the years, she has been unfairly criticized in public meetings, misquoted in local media, and targeted by people who simply didn't like her message. She could have fought back. She could have turned every insult into a battle, but she didn't. Instead, she focused on her mission. She let her work speak louder than any defense. And over time, even her harshest critics had to admit there was wisdom in her silence. This is what real power looks like. When you refuse to react, you deny the aggressor their victory. You take control of the only thing that's truly yours, your response. Eleanor Roosevelt, who faced relentless criticism throughout her public life, once said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." That's Stoicism in action. Not weakness, not retreat, but quiet, unshakable self-respect. And this principle isn't just for philosophers or public figures, it's for you. When was the last time someone's words got under your skin? A co-worker's sarcasm, a family member's judgment, a stranger's online comment? Ask yourself, did reacting help, or did it make things worse? Next time, try this instead. Breathe, pause, allow yourself to step back so you're not pulled into the whirlpool of negative emotions. Because sometimes silence is the strongest answer. The way you preserve your inner strength and your dignity. Building on the quiet power of silence in the face of insults, imagine letting harsh words pass through you like a gentle breeze flowing through an open window. You don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to explain. You don't even have to respond. Because silence, when rooted in confidence, becomes its own powerful statement. In a world where everyone is shouting, trying to prove a point, to argue, to win, the one who remains calm will always stand out. Stoic silence isn't passive, it's strength. It says, I know who I am, and I don't need your approval to validate that. And here we are, at the end of our journey through the 9 moments where silence isn't just golden, it's transformational. If there's one lesson the Stoics like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius teach us, it's this. Wisdom isn't about having the last word. It's about knowing when to say nothing at all. Just imagine how different your life could be if, instead of arguing with fools, you simply smiled and let them wear themselves out. If instead of fueling negativity, you let it roll off you like rain on stone. Feels powerful, doesn't it? Because it truly is. So here's a quiet challenge for you. The next time someone tests your peace, pause. Don't react right away. Just breathe, stay grounded, and rise above it. When you feel that calm strength within you, come back and comment Stoic Calm. If you find the teachings of Stoicism helping you discover peace and inner strength amid life's challenges, don't hesitate to hit like and share this video with those who also need a little calm and resilience. Subscribe to Stoic Fantastic and turn on notifications so that every precious Stoic lesson arrives just when you need it, helping you master your emotions, stay grounded, live a life full of meaning. Remember, the journey to becoming the best version of yourself is never a lonely one. I deeply appreciate your companionship on this path. If you're ready to turn silence into strength and calm into victory, drop a comment saying Stoic Calm so I know you're here, ready to grow alongside me every day. Thank you for trusting and choosing Stoic Fantastic, where timeless wisdom meets modern life. See you in the next video.